Welcome to the second season of Under the Onion Skin, the podcast to get closer to independent animation directors and get to know some behind the scenes of their short films. My name is Giulia Martinelli, and each time I talk to a different director about an animated film they made. With this podcast, I hope to be able to capture a glimpse of what I love mostly about film festivals, to have something to listen to when we're back to our regular lives and desks, but most of all, to celebrate beautiful films, talented artists, and storytellers. Welcome to Under the Onion Skin. Hi there! Today, I'm talking to Swiss director Elie Chapuis about his stop-motion short film Canard, in English, Duck. We found a quiet corner during Fantoche Festival, while in the background the party starts. In this episode, among other things, we talk about Fantoche Festival, a bunch of writing tips, and how to make special effects in stop motion. Enjoy! But yeah, sorry that I take you away from
No, it's good.
Apero.
It makes a little break, so many people, I like it, but it's absolutely draining.
But I'm actually happy if we can hear a little bit of
Yeah, that's nice.
Apero.
At the party.
Yes.
Yeah. Shall we do it in English?
If it's fine for you, yes.
I think it's better. It's more international.
Exactly. That's I usually do it in English so that the larger audience can understand. And then you speak all the languages, so that's... Yes. So, first of all, how is Fantoche going?
Great.
Yes?
Yeah, I'm so happy to be back. I haven't been back here for 3 years, and Fantoche has a really special place in my heart. Not only because it's in Switzerland, but it has really special vibes. It has the perfect size where you have a lot of international guests, very strong programming, I think. But all the Swiss animation community gathers, especially on the Friday, and I really like that.
Which is today.
So it's great to see so many known faces, but as well so many new faces every year, and I really like that constant renewal, new students from High Selu and other schools, and I think it's very exciting. I really love it.
Yeah, that's very nice. I agree. And I also feel like, especially because Switzerland is a small country and a small community, it's really like a family reunion.
Totally. It is a family reunion. Yeah. That's why Maya Gerig says all the time that it's a family gathering, and it's totally true. I think it's a family gathering without any family problems and issues. So it's only the good sides of a family gathering, and I think that's great. It's a chosen family. Yeah.
And plus there are all the international guests, which is also very nice. Every year they bring new energy.
So stimulating.
Yeah, that's nice.
And to me, because I was away from Fantoche during 2 years, I really feel that there is a huge increase in visiting people, either Swiss or international. I've never seen as many people as during this festival, during the artist brunches, for example.
Okay.
On like Wednesday noon, the cinemas were full for kind of edgy programs. So I think it's a good sign. And for me, who was part of the selection team of Fantoche during pandemic and the year before, I'm very happy to say, okay, that page is turned. That is over.
It's getting better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice. And I didn't notice, because I didn't watch too many things so far, but you said it was quite full. Do you think it's also locals, or mainly animation industry?
No, it's locals. And what I like about Fantoche is that when you meet with the volunteers, at the cashier desk or at the entrance of the cinema, it's always the same people for like 10 years, 15 years. Some people are retired and they come here for fun. And I think it's the same thing with the Fantoche team. The Fantoche team has changed a little bit, but it's the same people. And I think Fantoche manages to make so that people stay at Fantoche because they like it. Probably they're well treated. I hope that.
Yes.
And I really like that. And to answer your question, among the audience, you've got a few Baden people that I met like in the bath like 10 years ago.
Oh, wow.
And I still meet them every year and we greet, and they have nothing to do with the industry. They're just locals who are both passionate about cinema and passionate about that thing, that special thing happens in Baden. And I think that's a special quality of a festival.
Yes.
Really.
It's a good sign, I think, if it attracts also locals.
Yeah, absolutely.
And not just animation people.
So I will be very curious to see the figures of the ticketing office at the end of the festivals, the statistics. But I would bet that there is an increase this year. And I'm very happy for the festival. I'm very happy for Ivana Kwezic. And the whole team, especially in a period where money is getting more complicated to find, even for well-established festivals like Fantoche.
Yes. It's very good to hear. I hope so too. Yeah.
I hope so too.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's just a feeling.
We'll see. But I was stealing you because I wanted to talk about Canard.
Yeah, it won a prize in Locarno for the first festival, which was great. I was very happy.
When was that?
That was last summer, last August.
So it was
the world premiere.
World premiere in Locarno.
In Locarno, in Pardi di Domani. I was super honored. It was great.
Nice.
Yeah.
But I saw it only in January. In Solothurn the very first time. And this week I saw it twice.
All right.
And I wanted to tell you this because every time I see it, I see more details.
Yeah.
I mean, like every animation, but I really like it in this case even more because it gives me more depth and more layers. So it's funny because animation, sometimes we think, oh, it's going to be watched only once. But I feel like it would give so much more if you have the chance to watch the same short multiple times. And I really enjoy it more and more.
Thank you.
When I watch it, yes. So maybe can you tell me something about the process, like of the making, of the writing, whatever you feel like sharing.
So there are so many things to say, but because the film deals with nightmares, I wanted to find a way to write the film that could keep up with the fact that I had very strong images in mind that were a bit difficult to write first. And then, as much as I love making films, the writing stage is always very full of anxieties for me because I find myself in front of a white page. I know I'm not the only one that experiences that, but it's really a hard moment for me. I don't like it. And I was part of a writing atelier in Geneva in 2016 with Claude, and it's very funny because Claude wrote the first version of Sauvage in this atelier, and I wrote the first versions of my film in this atelier. And during this atelier, Sofia Kouloukouri, who is an artist dealing a lot with writing and cinema, gave us many tips. And she introduced us to a great tool, which is free, available on the internet. It is called the Most Dangerous Writing App. I think .net or .org. That's the name of the app. It's a website.
Super name.
So basically, the concept of it is that you choose the length of a writing session. For example, you say, I want to write for 10 minutes. You type in 10 minutes, and then you start writing. As soon as you stop writing, you take a break, for example, with your keyboard, the image starts to blur, and after 5 seconds, it gets red and everything disappears forever without being saved.
So you have to keep writing.
You have to keep writing. So you're forced, and when you don't really know what you're about to write or you have rough ideas, then you enter a different state of mind. Of course, at the beginning, it's very stressful.
Yes, yes.
Where you enter a kind of automatic writing state of mind, like the surrealists, the French surrealists did during the times of Oulipo and stuff like that. And then you keep on writing. The trick is, if you use the deleting key button on the keyboard, it doesn't count as writing.
Yeah.
So you can try to delete to save time, but no, it doesn't work. So So of course the writing is not good, but it's not the point. The point is pressing the lemon out, pressing the juice out of the lemon in a way like forcing all the juice out of the lemon. And only when you reach the end of the planned sessions, say 10 minutes, then you can save what you wrote and you can rework it.
And catch a breath.
And I entered like kind of different consciousness states, like in a dream, like automatic writing. And all the nightmare sequences were written like that, and it helped me a lot. So I had very rough texts that were the different moments of the film that were the dreams and the nightmares. Then I used, I would say, normal writing to write the rest. And I had bits and bobs of my film. I ordered them in a way that I could have kind of a dramaturgy. I wrote a script out of it, nicely written, everything. And I worked with Germano Zullo, script writer and author from Geneva. He worked a lot with Albertine Zullo, who is an illustrator. And together they had worked a lot with Claude Barras on his early short films. He was the script writer. She was the character designer and the art designer. And Claude was the director of the film. Mm-hmm. It was a lovely trio. And Germano likes erotic stories with a twist. And he likes a lot stories who talk about witchcraft, parallel worlds, spells, and stuff like that. So it was a match made in heaven. We met once or twice. He wrote a version which was like a professional script writing. We just made a few corrections and then we had the film.
Wow.
So it was great. And so I think I don't know if I think I would use that app again because it's great. And I really encourage anyone who is a bit blocked with script writing or everyone to use that app. But I think that app really matched the type of writing I needed, which is dream, unconscious, fantasy, dark fantasies. It was great. Mm-hmm. So the type of writing really matched the content, and I was really happy about that. And I'm so thankful to Sofia Kouloukouri and that writing workshop, because the app gave me that thing gave me a good structure to press out the first ideas, yeah. and then reading them with other co-workers who were developing other stories together. That was a very good, interesting first feedback. Yeah. It was really nice. And I think I made the decision. I know they're saying never say never, but I think I'll never write a script alone again.
Yeah.
Maybe in some stages of the script, but I think it's so nice to ping pong with someone else. I really loved working with Germano, even though it was quite at the end of the process. It was kind of the end polish.
Yeah.
But it was
to get feedback. You mean?
Yeah. It's not very nice to say that. It was not the end polish. I mean, Germano gave the structure, and Germano played a lot with everything that was already in the film: eggs, ducks, feathers, sex, and used them as key symbolic elements. And yes. He made them symbolic elements. And that was really good because I was too deep into the story to see that those elements could be key elements visually too.
Yes, I know.
So that was sorry for that. It was not the end polish. It was really like giving milestones in the story and giving really strong beats. That was great.
That's very nice. First of all, thanks for sharing this part. I think it's very interesting, like the writing and the stool. And I can really relate. It's like this stream of consciousness that you need when you are writing, or like just dropping on the page, right?
Absolutely.
And I never tried this app, but now I want to try it. And it reminds me of those writing workshops where they timed like now 5 minutes. And
exactly.
And that's super helpful. I agree. Also to get out what you don't like.
Yeah.
So, yeah, definitely. I'm very happy to hear that. And it makes sense now that you tell me that all the dream and nightmare scenes were written like that. I can see it.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy to see it now translated into the movie, because that's one of the things that I keep enjoying, rewatching how the nightmare scenes are coming like gradually more and more, you know, how you manage to portray really a dream, you know, with the size, with, you know, for example, when she is in the bed with a huge egg.
A huge egg, yeah, exactly.
This is such a classic dream thing, that things are weird and big and small, and I really love that. And I can totally see how this came from writing session like that. Awesome. Thanks for sharing this.
My pleasure.
One of the things I wanted to ask you was really about this nightmarish mood, or like this dark mood, which you managed to portray not only with these scenes, like playing with size, but also the lights.
Yeah.
And even, of course, stop motion, I think, helps for this, because it gives this grotesque look sometimes. Yeah. How did you try to build the world, like graphically?
So there are two different axes. The first axe is I really wanted to work with a friend who's called Cécile Milazzo. Cécile Milazzo was the head of paint on My Life as a Zucchini, My Life as Courgette. And when I was working there, I noticed that she had an amazing sense of colors, an amazing palette. And I didn't know how she was working, but I felt that it was really strong and it always was going good with the story. So I approached her and I said, look, I want to make a film. I would love to build the visual world with you, because I'm not a good draughtsman. I'm a bit afraid of color because I'm not a painter. And I want to work in paper. So we developed that together. I made some sketches, we did some prototypes, and the way she paints is very interesting. Basically what she does is, in the characters and in the sets, for everything, when the puppets or the sets or the props are just raw, without paint, she comes with pure colors, very violent colors like blue, green, pink, and she puts some touches which are really violent. And then she covers those layers of colors with more quiet colors, skin colors, little touch-up of different colors. But the violence of the color that lies beneath always somehow comes to the surface. And when I discovered her painting process, I thought, wow, that makes so much sense for my film. Because when you have a nightmare, and then on the day after your nightmare, you try to carry on with your normal day, you've got flashes, sometimes it's a bit haunting, and it just are little bubbles that come up in your normal life. And I really like the idea that even the painting and the art direction made sense with the story, with the nightmares, of having things that are very violent, but a little bit hidden by everyday's colors. And when you look closely at the puppets or the sets, if you press pause when you watch the film, then you can see that, for example, the outlines of the nose, the eyes, they are like green, blue, red. And we really used those two worlds, violence and calm, when we were painting that together. And she really said, use violent colors and then calm them with quieter colors. And there was that process. It was really because we were working all together, and I had the great luck to take part to it and to paint the sets and everything, which was very new for me. And we had those moments, and she said, it's not calm enough. Or she said, oh, it's too calm. It should be more violent. Add some colors. And so we were always playing with these two words, which I think are define some moments of the film where even when it's quiet, there is a bit of violence that is like a fire that's not completely extinct and that's about to make flames again.
So the character, like the puppet, has the same color from the beginning to the end. You didn't change that?
No, we didn't change them.
So, okay. And you, on top of that, in terms of color, did you also play with lights, or it was?
Of course, yeah. Sorry. So that was the first direction. It is the making of the sets. and the color scripts and the decision to use that technique. That was Cécile. And then I worked with Nadine Bus, who is a fantastic camera woman from France. She did the light on many stop motion films. She's kind of a stop motion camera woman specialist. And very quickly she found a way to light the set so that the light would create a very strong atmosphere and as well, at some moment, really highlight those colors that were decided by Cécile and the painting team.
Yeah.
So, no, it was really great. It was really, really great.
It's a great combination that what you just described.
It was perfect, yeah. And Cécile and Nadine work very often together. They are friends. They talk together during the making of the sets, the puppets, the paint, and to loop the loop, to complete the thing. I really wanted, because Cécile is an animator too. Cécile can do many things. She's so talented. Cécile was an animator as well on the Swiss part of the shooting of the film. And she animated during nearly 6 weeks. And that was great to see her animate the puppets that she had designed. Yeah. She's a very sensitive animator and it was great. So it was really nice.
Yeah, I think it's also good to have a team that is involved in the process, since the beginning maybe, even, so
absolutely.
that they know.
Absolutely.
That's very cool. But because we're talking about the technical stuff, I'm not a stop motion person, but this glowing effect that, like this magical, surreal, how was it physically created?
So I wanted to make everything in camera.
Yeah.
So I had the idea at the beginning to have a video projector and to project a handmade effect in the eyes of the characters. Okay. But because the eyes are so small and the moves are very, very subtle, it was impossible. So we decided that we would use compositing, but I wanted to find a way to do it. And we never had time to research that. So basically we did the whole film. And when we were cleaning up the studio on the Monday after the wrap party, I was like, come on, I need to find a solution. I need to find something. And I tried different things and I found a great thing, which is at the studio, we have a place where we do the dishes.
Yeah.
And when the dishes are very dirty, we use those metallic sponge.
Yes.
Those steel sponges. Yeah. And the steel sponges, there are two things you can do with them. If you take a lighter and you put those sponges in fire, it makes sparks.
I never tried to set one on fire.
Yeah, when I was a kid, I loved to play with fire and I would set everything on fire. And it's very funny because I don't know how it works chemically or physically, but the thing burns by itself alone. You don't need anything. And it sparkles. It's beautiful. Don't do it or do it. It's great.
Don't do this at...
But that was not working well and it didn't have an animated feel. What I wanted is the kind of sparkle that you have on the sea when you have just little waves and the sun is about to set, like in Japanese animation.
Or the moon.
They know how well to do it. That little sparkling where you have, just for a few images, a spark that starts, then 2 images later it's big, then it disappears, but there is a direction. And I couldn't find a way to do that. So what I did with those metallic sponges is that I put a metallic sponges on a table with black under it. And I took a headlamp, the ones you use when you're camping and you need to go peeing in the middle of the night in the forest.
Yeah.
And I turned the headlight around the sponge and animated that frame by frame. And because the sponges is made of so many little metallic wire, the sparks disappear very quickly and then it moves to another wire. So when you animated it, it has exactly what I wanted.
That's awesome.
So I did a few tests. I shot, I don't know, maybe 5-10 seconds of that with different rhythms. I gave that to the compositing people and they encrusted that in the eye, adding that little milky texture to the eye because the eyes were white, basically.
Yes. Wow, that's fascinating.
Yeah.
Also like the process of experimenting and trying and...
You know, I think that's why I love stop motion so much, is that there is no solution that already exists for your film. You need to invent everything. And you need just to try it. And the trying of it is very playful. It's like when you're a kid and you play with your lighter and the sponge that you were not supposed to burn, but that you burn in your room without your mother and your father knowing. That kind of stuff. And I really love doing that. I did that as a kid. And I love to play with soap, mix it soap with oil to see what it would do. I love to play with fire. So I think that playing with matter, with your hands, until you find something that exactly what was in your head, I love it. And stop motion is great for that because you need to do that.
It's very crafty also.
Yeah, it's totally crafty.
It's playful.
And you need to take things that come from completely different worlds, like from the paper world, from the washing dishes world, and then suddenly things combine together and they're great for your film. And for everything, you need to do that. And yeah, I just love it.
Yeah, you have to be curious and try stuff out.
Yeah, and if you don't need a lot of time, we found that in a few hours. When they were already disbanding the whole studio, I was playing with different stuff, and suddenly I found it, and it was just a matter of 2 hours.
That's very cool. Awesome. Thank you that's also an awesome thing. I mean, not just the trick itself, but to remind yourself to try, to experiment, to play, and also have fun, I guess.
What I like about stop motion is that this phase is absolutely necessary, even in a film that's completely scripted, where you know exactly what you're going to do. You have an animatic, you've got puppets, everything is really planned ahead, but there is always that little room for experimentation and for playing around, playing with different stuff until you get what you need. It can be just for a special effect, just for a scene, but it always is such great fun, and I never get tired of that.
This is a very great reminder in general, but also for me. So I'm happy that we got this in the recording.
I talk a lot.
No, it's fine. For
I
me,
talk a lot.
I'm thinking because I told you 10 minutes and then I steal you from everybody.
I've got my whole night. It's fine.
Okay, that's
I'm
good.
very happy about that.
You know, because this podcast is called Under the Onion Skin, I always have some onion-related things.
I've got a love-hate relationship with onions.
Yeah.
Because I think they stink.
They do.
And I really like onions, but I like candied onions, you know.
Caramelized.
Caramelized onions. I like when they're cooked. I really don't... When onions are raw in a salad, for example, I know it's so good, but I digest them very badly. And I'm reminded during at least one day that I ate raw onions.
You regret.
I regret.
Yes.
So I've got a love-hate relationship with onions, but the only thing I can say, but it's maybe a bit far-fetched or a bit hair-dragged, as we say in French, it's that onions have many layers, and the outside layers tend to dry and die, but an onion, as long as it is fresh, the inner layers are still alive. And when you look at the inner layers at a microscope, it's moving. That's a chemistry trick and a biology trick that we had in high school, in gymnasium. It's the onion experiment, and you just peel an onion that you bought at the Migros, you know, and you look at the microscope and it's totally alive.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, absolutely. And maybe if I want to find a link with my film, I think we are made of many layers. Some layers die, and there are some deeper layers that you don't even know they exist, and it's always very lively. And I think for my film, I never used the onion metaphor. I used the Schwarzwaldtorte, the millefeuille layer. You know, Schwarzwaldtorte is made of many, many layers, and you've got the deeper layers where you don't really know what's happening there because it's hidden in the cake. And I think when I was looking for the ideas of my film, dreams, nightmares give you access to very, very deep layers of yourself. And if you have the opportunity to do a psychotherapy or even a psychoanalysis that I never did, you get suddenly access to layers of yourself that you didn't know they existed. And you make connections between the different layers because, of course, everything is connected. And that's what makes an onion and we a living object or animal or being. And maybe that's the connection I could see that like an onion, every layer probably has a different taste. I never did that while cooking, but I could do something with just a few layers of onion that could be an experiment. And I really noticed, okay, those kind of layers, they are in me, they're part of me, and I just discovered them by making that film, and I'm very happy about that. I think making a film is always discovering bits about yourself.
Definitely, yes.
That's great.
I love this metaphor, and thanks for saying this. I cannot add anything. It was perfect. No, thank you so much.
But on a concrete aspect, no. I never animated onions. I wouldn't like to do that because it would stink too much and I would cry too much. But maybe, who knows, in a film with vegetables, who knows what my future in stop motion is. Maybe I will, made with onions, or maybe a related, a film vegetable, something related. I really like directors who did that have no boundaries, and I like Jan Schwankmajer. Schwankmajer animated vegetables, meat, fruit, rotten stuff, liquid. It's so disgusting, and I love it. And maybe one day in my life I will do a tribute film to Schwankmajer using vegetables, and I will take an onion thinking of you, and I will send you a text saying, it's great, but it stinks so much. Thank you, Giulia. And I'm crying.
Thank you very much, so much for this, and for taking the time.
My pleasure.
In a festival where you are a very important person. Everybody wanted to stop and say hi.
And not at all, and my duties are finished. I feel on holiday.
Okay.
I'm going to bath and to party, so no, don't worry, please, it's perfect.
Right. So very, very nice. Thank you so much.
Well, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for your questions.
I hope you learned a lot from this episode as much as I did. Elie is a great storyteller, and it was a pleasure chatting with him. Before wrapping up, I have to say I'm weekly mesmerized and surprised to see the statistics from the podcast and notice how it's been followed and listened all over the world. So thank you everyone, everywhere, for listening and sharing this little podcast. That's it for today. This was Under the Onion Skin. Thanks for tuning in, and until next time, with another director and a short animated film.